Hey, siblings of Christ, welcome to week 86 of Read Through the Bible in 2 years. So, our Old Testament readings are from the prophet of the book of the prophet Zechariah, and a little word about where we are in the history of God's people. God's people are now starting to come back from their exile in Babylon. They've been in exile in Babylon for 50, 60, some of them even 70 years. And as they are coming back, they're coming back to a Jerusalem that's not as they wanted it to be. The temple was burnt to the ground. The walls were destroyed. And so the prophet Zechariah begins to have a series of visions, these visions that urge the people to rebuild the temple, to rebuild the walls so that they can start to rebuild what is proper relationship with God through that temple. Because the goal of this is that they do not fall back into idolatry again, because it was because of idolatry that that God had withdrawn his support and that they were taken back into exile in the first place some 70 or 80 years before. The New Testament readings come from the Gospel of John. And in chapter 6 of the Gospel of John, which was last week, Jesus presented himself as the bread of life that comes from heaven. In chapter 7, Jesus is in more of a confrontation now with the religious leaders of the temple. They want to arrest him. In fact, they send soldiers out to arrest him. But those soldiers become kind of enamored with what Jesus is teaching, and also that the crowds are starting to gather and they are in support of Jesus, and they don't want to cause a riot. The last part of chapter 7 is this part where what takes place behind the scenes in the meeting of the Sanhedrin, and a Pharisee that we've heard of before, the Pharisee named Nicodemus, becomes this defender of Jesus, and cautiously and carefully tries to defend him and keep him from being arrested and thus killed. So, folks, thank you. Thank you for your continuous persistence in reading through the Bible in 2 years. May it deepen your knowledge of Scripture, and may it deepen your love for this God who speaks to us through Scripture. Thank you.